this Ramadan.
Well, the time is just gone 8 minutes past 5 as we continue with the program with news and views this afternoon. The Iftar Drive this afternoon. And we have now learned about the Joburg Mayor Thapelo Amad. And there is huge controversy surrounding a 9.5 billion rand loan claim. We see the Patriotic Alliance saying that they seem to have backed the wrong horse. The Action SA say they will file a motion of no confidence in the mayor. And I don't know. In fact, I think it's only those in the council that know what is actually happening, because we find that when the mayor was from the Al Jama party was elected, there was this huge concern with regard to the competency of the mayor. Is he just there because the ANC and the EFF wanted him there together with the likes of the PA, knowing that he could not deliver? But all this controversy, and not long after being the mayor of Johannesburg, we find all these issues starting to emerge. And we are now joined by someone who has got a huge interest in the subject and who understands the council, who understands what goes on in the chambers, none other than my brother Suiliman Patel. Suli, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi, and indeed a pleasure to be with you on your program. And we would like to also say Ramadan Kareem to all the listeners, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Well, Suiliman, I recall when Mayor Thapelo Amad was elected to the post, there was a lot of discussion that took place, and particularly in some of the groups that you and I are part of, we had this huge discussion on whether he would last the pace, whether he would be able to deliver. And we see not long thereafter, there is this 9.5 million so-called loan that is hanging over his head. And also at the same time, people are starting to have doubts on whether he is the man for the job or not.
So I think let's play the ball for the minute, right? In terms of council, and specifically being in an executive role, and when you're acting as the executive of a 78 billion rand budget, one definitely needs to be extremely circumspect about what you say, how you say it in the media, and when you say it, right? So there's no doubt in my mind that if you're the CEO or CEO of any corporation, and you need to be able to find money, one will be having discussions with multiple people at various levels with regard to that. And that's the role of the CEO, together with your CFO, perhaps your chief operations officer. That's what one would want to do. However, when you're on a media platform, and in this particular case, when you're the mayor, one should be very careful and not just go and say, for example, that I had a meeting, and in this meeting we were discussing the potential capital loan of 9.2 billion or whatever the figures might be, and a percentage of 2%, and then not payable over 5 years, and then after 5 years, after 15 years thereafter, there's a payment. And when one puts something like that through, one can really expect a hullabaloo for two reasons. One, that having a discussion does not constitute having completed any particular deal or any particular contract. Perhaps a verbal offer was made, perhaps various negotiation instruments were discussed with regard to this, and one must be very cautious of that. Number two, when you're dealing with a 78 billion rand budget, and knowing where we come from in terms of corruption, knowing where we are in terms of, unfortunately, the downfall of many of these particular macros in terms of the mismanagement of finance, and the very aggressive nature of poor service delivery, and beset by the problems of money that's gone missing, or irregular spending or irregular expenditure, one cannot go onto a national media platform like State TV and go and talk about a 9.2 billion rand discussion and about 2% and so forth. One, when you don't understand the instrument. Number two, you don't understand the context of this. And number three, do not go and try and assume that you're going to be able to pacify viewers by being able to show the importance of your individual or your office or your capability, by being able to talk about these type of things when you got no clue of how budgeting, etc. works. Because even if you have to try and have any negotiation with a 9.2 million rand budget or a 9.2 million rand loan, there are significant hoops that one needs to go through in terms of the Municipal Finance Act, in terms of the Municipal Systems Act, to be able to go and do this. And this itself shows that if you have individuals that are not qualified to be able to understand governance, to not be able to understand how local government work and operates, and you through a populist message, you have these people coming on into this particular position, it's a travesty. The second issue, Inayat, is the reality is this, that the individuals that we choose that goes in there, if you're going to be the butter that's going to sit between two slices of bread, okay, you're going to slide away constantly because you're going to have the two powers that have brought you in, all right, which in this case is the ANC, where you're acting as a proxy for the ANC. And number two, you're acting as a proxy for some of the other parties. Between the two, you'll always be playing on a slippery slope. And when the time comes, they will essentially try and eject you. And the third problem is the power play that's happening, because you can't see what's happening in Johannesburg in isolation, but what's not happening in Ekurhuleni. If you've really seen what happened in Ekurhuleni now with the demise of the DA, that the ANC and EFF have come in through bringing in another proxy, exactly like what they've done in Joburg. They are using the same recipe, that because the two can't agree on a mayoral post, let's bring in somebody that we can control from both sides, which means that you're the butter between the two slices of bread, and we will then control and we will run this. So whether it's a 45 billion rand budget at Ekurhuleni or whether it's a 78 billion rand budget, I think our listeners should basically take heed that you are having the politics, okay, of proxies playing out in major cities and major economies in Gauteng, and in a major province like Gauteng, which accounts for the 14% GDP of a large country like South Africa. And we basically start playing around with these type of macros where you've got these type of individuals in that do not understand governance and these various systems acts, and making these type of statements on there. It is a real serious threat to any type of democracy when you have incompetence coming in, and you have people trying to talk competently about something they do not know, and obviously that's definitely going to have a fallout. So unfortunately, one can wave that I don't think he'll be in that particular seat any longer, in my particular point of view, because nobody would want to have a liability like the individual in that particular role. And I think that's the reality and the message that must come through, that you need to choose competent people and competent cadre, and many competent cadre within Al Jamaa were overlooked in this particular position that could have done a much better job, and sadly so.
Exactly. And now we've seen, even a party like the Patriotic Alliance saying that they backed calls for his removal, and Gayton McKenzie, and also to the extent of apologizing for backing the wrong horse, Suleiman.
Well, I think, the Patriotic Alliance is playing politics, right? You saw the video that came through from Gayton McKenzie. He's very upset that after what happened in Johannesburg, that he thought that him and his coalition parties will have a smooth ride in Ekurhuleni. And the whole thing turned into a complete circus where, with the new proxy mayor being brought into Ekurhuleni, again, the butter between the two slices of bread, the ANC and the EFF have essentially gone and rolled the roost, and all the other minority parties have been discarded. So your whole, all your members of your mayoral committee in the city of Ekurhuleni today, unfortunately, from the ANC and from the EFF, and they've left all the other guys out. So I'll definitely be cut up if I was Gayton McKenzie as the Patriotic Alliance. Why? Because the Patriotic Alliance is one of the key parties that has got the key leveraging of seats in both Joburg and in Ekurhuleni. And if you look at the video that was coming out over the last day or so, where he said that we are going to basically definitely shift the state of power in the city of Joburg, because we've been literally slapped in terms of supporting a particular caucus position in Ekurhuleni, and we're definitely going to revisit what's happening in Joburg. And this is the first strike at that, by being able to use this opportunity to do it. I don't think a loan has been done or anything done based on what was said in the media. I think the individual went and spoke about this unintelligently and not understanding its ramifications, but I don't think a loan has been done or anything set together. It was purely just a discussion point that people have used out of it, but they're going to use this to slam dunk him, and definitely slam dunk within the next few days. I think that you'll have a vote of no confidence going in. And with this, the Patriotic Alliance will also send a message both through to the ANC and the EFF that, listen, if you don't toe the line and basically give us a seat or two in Ekurhuleni, we're going to basically bring this particular council down. But I don't think that, unfortunately, the mayoral seat that is currently being occupied by Al Jama will see the light of day. They're definitely going to force that he be put out. Either Al Jama needs to replace him with another candidate, or in this particular case, because there's no agreement within that particular camp, there'll be another political party coming in to take that and become the new butter between the two slices of bread. And that's serious for me, because there is no leadership. I mean, if you look at since this coalition has come in, there's been no consistency in this coalition. There's been no service delivery, because the political heads are fighting for power, are fighting for who controls the budget. Each of those budgets are essentially their own personal banking accounts of these particular parties, and that's what they're fighting for. So these banking accounts of these particular parties is what they want. That's what they're after. You've got elections in 2024. It needs to be funded. These banking accounts in the metro of Ekurhuleni and in the metro of the city of Joburg are just too important to lose. Between the two of them, they account for 110 billion rand budget, plus minus. They can't afford to basically lose those budgets, and they need that particular money to fight the political elections for 2024. Elections cost money, and their money is going to be coming in from this particular case, and people are going to fall. So it's politics at this point in time, United. It's not the issue of the loan. It's purely politics, and unfortunately, heads are going to roll, and they're going to make sure they try and massage each other in terms of seeing how they can get access to that particular budget for the elections 2024. It's not about service delivery. It's about service delivery in terms of ensuring money for 2024. That's the bottom line that's coming through.
Well, Sule, I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to go for a quick ad break. We'll be back.
Absolutely, no problem.
Endless blessings. The month of sharing the love, care, and spreading hope. This Ramadan, you can make it count by supporting one of the many projects by Penny Appeal South Africa. Donate your zakah, lila, fidya, kafara, and fitra safely and securely, knowing that your support goes to those most in need. Give hope. Make every minute count. May all your efforts and intentions be accepted. Penny Appeal, serving humanity, transforming lives.
Freedom Stationery supply Marlin and Marlin Kids pens to me and my school friends. They supply just about everything we need to help us get a better education, from books to files to rulers. In fact, any any accessory we need. Freedom Stationery. Education for the nation. What does accessory mean?
For a long time, we've lived in a centralized world where institutions held the all-important data and confirmed all transactions. Those times are over. Welcome to Libertas Group, a blockchain development company boasting an ecosystem that continually redefines the way we do business. Our blockchain is decentralized, making it immune to hacking or alteration, putting the power back in your hands with no middleman so you can focus on the growth of your business. Libertas, the simplest investment choice you'll make.
Southern Africa Dawa Network is a non-profit organization striving to uplift the disadvantaged and empowering through education and Dawa. Donate to the SADN centers, the M.A. Motala Islamic Center, as well as our Islamic centers in Amoti, Imtalumi, Botshabelo, and Castile. Donate your zakat and lillah today. Contact Farooq Sheikh 076-321-0650, Yusuf Mohammadi 072-259-3457, or the SADN head office 031-304-8000. Our account, Standard Bank, account number 050-856-294 for your zakat, or 050-879-790 for your lillah. Dawah through education, education through Dawah, the Southern Africa Dawah Network.
Abu Huraira narrated that he heard the Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, say, in black seed there is a healing for every disease except death. This Ramadan, experience the health benefits of this ancient blessed seed by using the Tib black seed range. Black seed assists the body to boost immunity, regulate blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation, and act as a potent antioxidant. Experience a holistic approach to health by introducing the Tib black seed range into your Ramadan routine. Available in capsules, pure cold-pressed oil, and a vapor rub. Trust Tib Health Sciences for quality black seed products. For more information, visit blackseed.co.za. Available at leading pharmacies.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
Well, the time is just gone 24 minutes past 5 on Iftar Drive, and Iftar will be setting in Johannesburg in about 36 minutes from now. We still have got the humanitarian segment this afternoon and the Nasiha in the build-up to the time of Iftar and the Azan for Maghrib that will signal the end of day 19 of this month of Ramadan. But we continue with Suiliman Patel taking a look at the shenanigans that have been playing out in Johannesburg, in the city of Johannesburg. Mayor Thapelo Amad under severe pressure after making certain claims with regards to a 9.5 billion rand loan, which could not be backed up. And now the calls are there for his head to roll. Suiliman, just to continue with the discussion, and we all knew it, that at some point in time, Thapelo Amad will come under pressure because the powers that be will use him as an excuse, as a scapegoat if things don't work out. Now we are talking of a 9.5 billion loan, and you will recall when the DA was in control of the city, they had also asked to raise funds or to raise loans so that they could then utilize the money for service delivery and address all the other problems that the city is actually faced with. That loan was opposed by the likes of the ANC, by the likes of Thapelo Amad himself, and also the EFF. But now, suddenly the role is now reversed, and the whole talk about this loan story emerges once again.
Well, I think we need to just look at an analysis of the current expenditure patterns and the current debt ratio that sits within the metros. It's in a dire strait. Okay, so whether the ANC blames the DA or the DA blames the ANC, the city of Joburg, and a very, very important city at that, their budget and their finances are in a serious dilemma. To run these type of cities, you definitely need money. More than that, and sadly so, a fair amount of the current budgets are being going towards purely on salaries, on a bloated bureaucracy which have been created, and a bloated metro which can't afford the bureaucracy. And more than that, you've got an officialdom that basically sits there that unfortunately are not up to the necessary acumen to be able to deliver service delivery. So when you have that, you then have to basically understand that you have to be able to have additional funding to be able to run this particular city, whether it's for all the different, for the plethora of the different agencies that they've got, from Pick It Up to the Metro Trading Company to City Power, and each of them needs this. And you definitely need money. Local government, by its very nature, within, and the Constitution allows for that, can go outside and to be able to raise money because they have the ability through the taxpayer base. In this case, City of Joburg has got a 1 million plus taxpayer accounts. And in that particular case, whether it's consumer or business accounts, they have the capability of saying that this is a muscle in terms of money that you're paying every month. And that's good muscle that banks will leverage in terms of being able to say that you and I have got no option, because if you don't pay your rates and taxes, your lights and water, somebody will come and cut your lights off, or somebody will try and get you through an eviction process. So it's a very good payer that will pay that money. And if you take it, an average household paying a million accounts, and you're paying 3,000 or 4,000 rand per month, that's a good revenue stream to the local authority that then obviously becomes bankable in terms of a bankable feasibility, or a bankable feasibility to many people that would want to loan you. And yes, you can get loans of 2% or even less, or even cheaper on the market. But there's always a catch behind it, because money doesn't come easily, money doesn't come cheap, and will cost you in the long run. Always somewhere along the line that you have that particular catch. So the city needs this type of money to be able to ensure that it grows or whatever. Because the second point is that, unfortunately, because of the pandemic nature of the corruption that has happened, you find that huge of the capital expenditure within most of these particular budgets are going through and being siphoned off in multiple ways. And ultimately, that puts additional pressure on the fiscus in terms of being able to say we need additional money to try and just bring basic service delivery in. And that's why you'll see like cities like Ekurhuleni and City of Joburg might try and claim that they've got a qualified, that they've got a clean audit based on that. But clean audit based on what? To be able to tinker the books and be able to show a clean audit is easy, but there's no service delivery. So money is needed to be able to do this. And the reality is this, in this particular case, I think the office of the mayor was trying to have these discussions. And unfortunately, this will definitely be used in terms of this. And you're correct. When the DA was in power, go ahead.
I think you and I are going to have to revisit this subject once again, because I've just seen a number come up on my screen. In fact, we were due to do another interview, and apparently my guest has to rush off for iftar out in Bahrain. So sadly, we're going to have to cut short this interview, but I'm sure you and I will be engaging a lot more, inshallah, after the month of Ramadan. There's just so much that you can actually bring to the discussion that we are having. But for now, Suli, Jazakallah so much for your time, and we'll touch base at some point in time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam, and Ramadan Mubarak and Ramadan Kareem to everybody, inshallah.
Ameen. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, that was Suiliman Patel. We're going to go for a quick break. We'll come back. We'll be joined by Noor Jahan and Nanabai.